Hey everyone. A couple days ago I watched the next Street Shark episode, Shark Hunt. I'm kind of fuzzy on details because I got a really bad cold the last couple of days. So, yeah, that's why my voice might sound a little bit different. It sounds different to me, or I might sound a little stuffed up. I don't know. I'm doing a lot better now. Like, my throat's cleared up. I just got a little lightheadedness now. Anyway, summary of the episode. Good thing I take notes, because otherwise, I'm pretty blanking on this episode. I don't remember much of it. I was gonna watch it again, but I really don't feel like it. Yeah, just looking at my notes. Let's see. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. Okay, now I remember. One of the things in this episode, there's no evil mutants, or well, aside from Clamando, but he's not like the threat of the episode. The main focus of this episode is animal poaching, which is a pretty interesting topic for Street Sharks to tackle. We see Moby Lick is watching these guys capture a Florida panther. And the interesting thing with this is I had to look up about Florida panthers because, like, when I saw it in the episode, I think one of the characters call it a panther, or Moby Lick calls it a panther, but it's like light brown. And I was like, wait, panthers are like dark colored, they're not light brown. So I looked it up, and it turns out Florida panthers are light brown. Oh, well, that's really interesting. And I learned a bunch about Florida Panthers. And then I went back to the episode, and then they explain it all. So there was a bunch of research for no reason. Anyway, let's see. He follows the poachers, and he discovers Malcolm Medusa and Clamando are the ones behind the poachers. Let's see. Medusa plans on hunting the panther, like he's gonna set it loose and then hunt it for his own amusement. Moby tries to go in and freeze it, but then Medusa pulls out this really fake toy-looking gun and then shoots a laser out of it that freezes Moby Lick. Okay. I still think the gun looks dumb. Like it's a fictional type of weapon that shoots a freezing laser, but I don't know, something about it still looks really fake to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that it's orange and it's all blocky looking. It looks just like one of those old like like back in the 60s or whatever, they made like little Flash Gordon toy guns, and this looks like one of those. Anyway, back to the summary. The Sharks meet up with President Horn, who tells them that the Florida Panthers are mysteriously disappearing, and he plans on signing legislation protecting the habitat, but if they're all gone, then he can't sign the legislation because there's nothing there to protect. So the Sharks go down to check out what's been going on. Oh, and also, I thought it was interesting that so President Horn is interested in endangered animals and protecting the wildlife, which means that he must be a Democrat or a third party. Interesting. Let's see. Street Sharks was on, let's see, early mid 90s? So it would have been George Bush Sr. or Clinton who was the president at the time, either one. I don't know my exact history of how long they were president for, but I thought that was interesting that this is quite a different character from either of them. Like when Horn first appears, he kind of feels like he's a cross between like Jimmy Carter and George H.W. Bush. I don't know if maybe like he was supposed to be or whatever. Anyway, back to the thing. It's just a weird thing I thought was interesting. I like fictionalized presidents and like political figures in media. It's always really interesting to see like what they were like compared to like in reality what actual political figures were like. Ah, my nose is still stuffed up, sorry. Anyway, the Sharks go down to the Florida Everglades to find out about the Panthers, and they take Benz along because, and this is something else interesting that I noticed is Benz is tagging along with the Sharks a lot more than he like originally did. Like initially, like he was there because he's a main character and he's a close friend of theirs. He's the one who makes their equipment and tech and stuff. But now it seems like he's always joining the group. It's really interesting, and I wonder, like, if Street Sharks had gotten a continuation or a sequel series or something, would Benz have become, like, a shark himself? That would have been kind of interesting. I would have liked to see that. That would be an interesting story possibility. So anyway, they're going through the island, and they find, or the Everglades, they find some of Moby's equipment, including this like little tracker for tracking the wildlife. They find this hidden building that belongs to Medusa, and inside are all these animals that are frozen from his freeze gun. Apparently, when he captures the animals and hunts them, he doesn't kill them, he just freezes them and then displays them here. Okay. I'm not sure what exactly Medusa's motivation is here. Like, he's just supposed to be, the evil Captain Planet villain who wants to do bad things just for the sake of doing bad things. Earlier on, when Medusa first shows up, he's like his motivation is money and power. He has his own little factory that he's trying to pass off as an animal sanctuary for some reason. That episode was a mess. Oh, and also an interesting thing. That episode had to deal with the way he tricks people into thinking there's an animal sanctuary around his building is through holograms. It's all a hologram, it's all fake. And the same thing happens here. There's holograms that hide his building, there's holograms later that hide booby traps. And that's such a weird thing to keep consistent with this character because we never see him doing any of this. We never see him developing any kind of hologram technology or setting it up or anything. He really doesn't seem to be that smart of a character, so it's just, I don't know, it's bizarre. Whatever. Back to the thing. Whoops. My notes jumped around here for some reason. Let's see. The sharks see Moby frozen in the building. They go and try to free him. Then Medusa shows up and he shoots Benz. Clamando shoots the sharks with a gas grenade, which knocks them out, so that Medusa can hunt them himself. The sharks wake up in the jungle, and Medusa's chasing them in like a 4x4 with the freeze gun. Let's see, there's a really smart thing here. The sharks dive underground, because there's no way he can shoot them when they're underground, but then they run into mines, which is also another really clever thing. I like that. So the sharks are running away from Medusa, and let's see, who is it? Slammu? Oh yeah, Slammu gets frozen, Jab gets caught in a booby trap, and then, there's a really weird thing here. There's a bunch of, like, reused animation from this episode. Let's see, there's a scene of Jab jumping up an embankment they use a couple of times, and then there's another shot of Streaks skating away over, like, some, bumpy land. That was really strange. I don't know why they had to reuse animation like that a couple of times. It's really strange. Because, like, they don't often do that. It's just really weird. So anyway, they find these booby traps covered with holograms, and they trick Clamando into falling into one, and then they freeze him with his own gun. Ripster and Streaks, they manage to escape, and they get back into the building to try and free Moby and Benz. Medusa comes in and almost stops them, but then suddenly Slammu and Jab break in through the wall and stop him, and Medusa brings up a good point. How are you here? You were frozen! And then Jab's like, frozen? Us? Not thanks to, was it, no more thanks to our brothers or something. And I was like, when did Ripster and Streaks unfreeze them? Because they never show that. They never explain it later. The episode ends and we never get any kind of explanation of how they were freed. It's really strange. Like, was there a cut scene? Maybe they could have cut the reused animation bits and instead have the scene of them going to unfreeze them, whatever. Back to the thing. Let's see. Oh yeah, they shoot Medusa with the freeze gun, and he explodes, and it turns out he was a robot. What? We have humanoid robots now in Street Sharks? Like, I guess it's not too far out, considering the other weird things they've done, but it's still really out of nowhere and weird. It's like in What's New, Scooby-Doo, where, like, instead of the explanation always being, oh, it was this guy wearing a mask, it's always, this guy used advanced robots. Alright, so anyway, they figure out that Robot Medusa was only a distraction to keep them from the real Medusa attacking President Horn at some appearance he's making about what he talked about before, signing legislation to protect the habitat. Alright. This was a really dumb plan on his part. Like, I don't know, just don't involve the sharks? Whatever, anyway. Uh, oh yeah, they unfreeze Moby. Moby tells them about the robot being a distraction. Then they go to the president. Medusa infiltrates the thing and freezes everyone. Oh, and a nice thing, the Secret Service head guy that was from the previous episode, he comes back in this episode with the same look, the same voice, I think even the same name. What was his name? Phlox, I think. So that's a cool little bit of continuity. So then anyway, the sharks fight off Medusa's henchmen. Medusa fires at Ripster. Ripster deflects it back, and it freezes Medusa. And then Medusa and Clamando are arrested and put in prison. And the interesting thing is they show the prison. It's like a big building on an island, and I looked it up. It looks like Alcatraz, which I don't think is actually in use anymore. I think now it's just a tourist attraction or something. I don't know, when I looked it up, I saw there was a bunch of stuff about tours being taken, and it seems weird that, like, I don't think an active prison would be a good place to do tours anyway. Um, it's a fun episode. Let's see. Oh, one of the weirdest things in this episode that is never explained is Clamando's appearance. He looks pretty much the same. His color's a little different. They keep miscoloring the bottom half of his shell. They color that like kind of a purplish red, the color of his skin, for some reason. I don't know what that's all about. But the weird thing is one of his eyes is red. I have no idea where that came from. It's never explained. Like, I don't know what that's all about. Was it on the toy? Did Clamando even have a toy? I don't think he had a toy, did he? I don't remember. Whatever. Anyway, that's really weird. I don't know why in the world he has a red eye. It makes me think that maybe there was some other adventure that him and Malcolm Medusa had that we didn't see. And, anyway, that's kind of cool. The other thing with Clamando is he's way more bootlicking than he has been in his previous appearances. Now, the first appearance was actually as one of Paradigm's or Paranoid's minions in the future, and they never explain his origin or anything. And then he's seen as Medusa's minion, and he's like very loyal to Medusa. In this one, though, he's not so much loyal as he is bootlicking, which is an odd change. So then, let's see. Oh yeah, Moby is back. That's cool to have Moby Lick back. He's like, from way at the beginning of the series, now it would be. But the weird thing is he doesn't do much. He shows up at the beginning, and then he's frozen, and then at the end, he still doesn't really, like, contribute much. Like, he could have been completely written out. Just have the episode start with the president telling the sharks, Florida Panthers are disappearing, I want you guys to check it out. Okay, and then they go, and the rest of the episode plays out like normal. They didn't really need Moby in this. Yeah, it's kind of weird how they will bring characters back and then just not really do anything with them. Let's see. Yeah, nothing else about this one. It was an okay one, so that's it for this one, I guess. See ya.